Let's see. Update on the pickup truck. I had an ignition problem, so I have to replace the ignition. I've been starting it with a screwdriver. Then I had a problem with the intake gasket, so I replaced that. Then I had a distributor issue. Went back to the old distributor. It works. And let's see. Oh, and now that it wanted to start yesterday, and then all of a sudden the intake exhaust gasket failed, and I know why. My intake, the flange was super thick compared to the flange for the exhaust, and I sanded it down for quite some time and got them close, but I don't think it was close enough, and so I'll have to pull that off and I need to sand down the intake further till they're identical and then put them back in. And it's kind of a pain in the ass because you got to balance the intake and the headers separately, and there's two headers and an intake. You got to balance it all to line the bolts up. It's a pain, but so that's what's got to be done on the truck, and then it's going to fire right up and we're going to have an amazing farm truck. And over here I'm working on the Russian stove, or the, it's a masonry heater. It's got thermal mass, just a fireplace that'll hold a lot of heat. And I put together 50 feet of coiled 1/2-inch copper tubing, just so that I can put that in as I build it, so that it's there, so I can connect and easily heat water later. I'm doing a different design here, a little bit different design than I originally planned on. It hasn't even started yet, but I think it's getting. And the old distributor earned its space in this truck because I bought a brand new one, but this one was affordable, like $80. So I think it might just be a cheap knockoff, and maybe that's the problem. And this old one might be nicer, and it sounds like we're just about to kick it over. So this is when I realized I had an exhaust intake leak that I need to fix. The cats have been doing great, but this one has not been getting as much food, so I gave it a can of tuna. So every 16 inches I've been drilling through the brick and driving a 6-inch screw 2 inches into the wood behind the brick. I picked up 50 feet of 1/2-inch copper tubing and then used a container to bend the tubing around the container so that I have a 50-foot long water heater I can safely place in the masonry heater. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but the horses are out there snooping around in the reservoir, so they're compacting the manure and the straw and hay that's out there and helping to seal that pond. It's called glazing, and the first time it filled, it held water for 10 days, which is a lot longer. Normally it would only hold water for hours, so it's already well on the way. I'd imagine next year it'll probably hold water. So the entire fireplace, the walls behind it are wrapped in brick, and then the brick have 6-inch masonry screws every 16 inches, and they go through the brick into the 2x8s behind it. So that's not going anywhere. Then there's about a 4-inch gap between the wall and the fireplace all the way around, and the only part of this that's the firebox is right here. So all this brick is only going to get up to about 140 degrees. It won't even be hot to the touch. This box will be very hot, but this brick is rated for 2,200 degrees. And so anything outside of that isn't going to get extremely hot. That's what it's for. So you light a fire down here. The ash falls down below the grate. I have to cut this out over here, and I'll bend a little metal tray that goes in there. Then I can open this door here and just slide the tray of ash out and do what I want with it. This door, there'll be another door on the back side here, and I'll be able to reach my arm all the way in to where the chimney's at, or to play around with the water heater area. And from the front, you can reach all the way back and access everything. So this design, instead of having the maze going back and forth, this is a double bell design. So the fireplace, the firebox will be tall. That way you should have a smokeless fire. Then the smoke will go back in here and fill up this box. And then once it fills it up, then it'll lower back down, and there'll be an entrance or an escape, for the fireplace. So the smoke goes out. And then on this side, the coil will be here to heat water. And then above that, we've got the oven. I still need to figure out exactly how I'm going to do it, but there's the doors for the firebox. Then I've got the oven, and from what I can tell, it might be best to just build a metal box, and that way it's easy to heat that oven, and then the cooktop. So I still got to figure that out. The other option would be to build, a brick, close it in with brick. You could potentially leave the backside open as long as the smoke will redirect and go out, or you could close it off. But I think a metal box might be the best way to do the oven. And so that's kind of where we're at so far with the design on that. So in the last video, I've been working on my farm truck and my van, and people kind of confused the two vehicles and what's going on. So I'll clarify real quickly is the farm truck, I'm just rebuilding that engine from scratch. And so it's not that it is mechanically unreliable or anything. It's just getting everything worked out, getting the kinks worked out so that it runs and works perfectly. So really, that's that. And then the van, see what happened with the van is before I even moved off grid, I was having some trouble, and I took it to a shop, paid them $600 to fix the problem, and I don't think they ever really did. They supposedly replaced the fuel rail sensor and whatever, but really, I think come to find out, from then till now, basically my PCV valve failed. And so then I was getting a lot of buildup in the catalytic converters. And I think that I just continued to build up carbon in the engine and whatever for a long time, thinking that they had solved the problem that they charged me for, but didn't. And eventually I realized, holy crap, and I replaced the PCV valve, but it's a little too late now. The PCV valve needed replaced, the catalytic converters needed cleaned out, the entire engine needed cleaned out. And so I cleaned out the engine. I put a little bit of seafoam in the fuel, run it like that. That wasn't quite enough. Put a little bit of seafoam in the crankcase, ran the engine for like 15 minutes, cleaned out a lot of carbon, then just dumped the whole system out, replaced the oil filter, replaced the oil. Things were pretty good, and then it started giving me shit again. And so what was it, yesterday? I just went ahead and dumped the oil again and changed the oil filter again. And then I've been running and I ran seafoam in the crank again, and I've been running seafoam in the gas tank, and I think like it was running good. Oh, and this is part of the solution is I had it running pretty good, and then I went ahead and relearned the throttle body. So basically just turn the key on, put the gas all the way to the floor, let the gas off, do that about 5-6 times, turn it off, then turn it on and let it run for 10 minutes without touching the gas, and the throttle relearned itself, and so now it's idling really nice. And so all I wanted to clarify is a lot of people were thinking I was having trouble starting the van, but no, I'm just having trouble starting the truck. And I call both a truck a lot, so I know I confused you guys. And the farm truck, it's wanting to start. The van starts just fine, but it wouldn't idle real good. It was fluctuating a lot. It'd stop at all of the, anytime I slowed down or stopped, it'd die. And it was just because it had a huge amount of carbon buildup in the system, really. And so, you know, all those different things along the way helped out a lot. And still, I'm going to clean out the throttle body specifically. And I've got a throttle body sensor, position sensor on the way because they're cheap. So anyway, I think the van is good to go. And that's a blessing because then I can run and get hay or do anything I need to do while I'm continuing to build up the farm truck. And like I say, for the farm truck, I need to pull that intake off, and I've got 40 yards of sandpaper, and that way I can get a nice flat surface and smooth it out, you know. And I just got to take like probably up to a 1/4 inch off, but probably like 1/8 of an inch off of that intake. That way I can seal the intake and headers and move on. And those are the main things on the agenda right now, in addition to preparing for winter around the homestead. So knowing what I need to do on the truck really put my mind at ease, and I was able to focus today on making some more progress on the fireplace, and I'll keep you guys up to date on both projects as I continue working on them. So thanks for stopping by, and subscribe if you want to learn more about my homestead or this fireplace.